Singapore and the United States are long-standing partners, and both countries are looking to deepen their relationship in new areas, including current and future pandemics, climate change and cybersecurity, while remaining committed to more traditional issues like security and economic cooperation. Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and US Vice President Kamala Harris spoke on a wide range of topics this afternoon, and here's what emerged from the meeting.
The Vice President's visit follows Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's visit here just a month ago. It emphasizes the U.S. administration's commitment to this region and shows that the U.S. has both strategic and economic stakes in Southeast Asia. We value the U.S. renewing its ties with friends and partners here, and especially with Singapore. Economic cooperation between the U.S. and Singapore is dynamic and flourishing.
We are in Singapore to stress and reaffirm our enduring relationship to this country and in this region, and to reinforce a shared vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific region, and to reaffirm our mutual interests in peace and stability in Southeast Asia. Prime Minister Lee and I had a productive conversation on how our two nations can partner together to fulfill this vision. In that context, Prime Minister, I thank you for the very generous offer that you've made to assist the United States in our evacuations from Afghanistan, and we look forward to following up on that discussion.
It's been a very busy day for Ms. Harris, starting with an official welcome by the Guard of Honor this morning. During her visit to the Istana, she also called President Halimah Yacob and had a new Orchid hybrid named in her honor. She will also visit Changi Naval Base and the U.S. littoral combat ship USS Tulsa, which is in port for a multilateral exercise. For more on this, I'm joined by foreign editor of the Straits Times, Bhagyashree Garekar. Welcome to the show, Bhagya. Bhagya, an array of topics were brought up during the joint press conference, including new partnership areas that both the US and Singapore are entering, like cybersecurity, climate and economic cooperation. Bhagya, what are the main takeaways from the session?
Okay, for me, one thing that jumps out and which is actually in the world headlines all over is basically Singapore's generous offer of the RSF plane to help with the evacuation and the airlift operations in Afghanistan. The second thing on economy, and I think you've named some of those things, the one big one, which again is subject of concern everywhere, is to do with supply chains. So US and Singapore are looking to resolve this issue. Because of COVID, there has been a backlog, which clogged up manufacturing all the way in the region, all the way to the US. So that is problematic for manufacturers, problematic for car makers and so on. So Vice President Kamala Harris lent her support to be able to solve this issue. The other thing are the new areas that you mentioned, climate, green energy, finance, green finance, clean transportation, smart city initiatives. Coming back to defense, you also have the the pact on deepening cooperation on cyber attacks. Now that is important because we increasingly see cyber hacks happening across the world. So those are some very key and important takeaways from today.
Right. But can you help us understand what is the significance of Ms. Harris's visit, to Singapore and of course beyond Singapore as well, to the Southeast region in general? Okay,
so Singapore, firstly, well, she showed up. And that's good because it matters. With President Trump, former President Trump, he skipped at least 2 important ASEAN meetings. And that does not go down well with the region. So she comes here, she is a vice president, the second most senior member of President Biden's cabinet. So it's good to see her, at the Istana with Prime Minister Lee. And the other thing I would say is, well, vice presidents are important people, right? And some of them become presidents. So we appreciate her being here. Then think about her, her biography. So, like many Singaporeans, she has roots in the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Her mother was an immigrant from Tamil Nadu. So, I think that's a nice connection, I think, that many Singaporeans will see in this visit. Beyond that, let's look at the region. So, it's been now 8 months since the Biden administration came in, and it had seemed in the beginning that they were very much focused on Europe and on Middle East when it came to foreign policy. Southeast Asia wasn't figuring very high, but the last 2 months have been pretty good. So there were high-profile visits. There was the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin visiting Singapore and other countries in the region. You had the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken meeting virtually with many of the ASEAN foreign ministers. So all this, and then now you have the Vice President. So what does this go on to show? It goes on to show you, especially in the backdrop of events in Afghanistan, that Mrs. Harris was here to say that US understands its commitment to the region. It has an enduring commitment. I think that's a word that you heard her say, and you will hear her say again tomorrow, I think, because she has an important speech that she's going to be making, and she will talk more about the imperatives of the US presence here.